Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dwi Putri Nur Ramadanti. In this video, I will explain about instruction and also acquisition. So, first of all, the first thing that I have to know first is what is instruction. So, instruction is how do we to do something, and then for the instruction there is form-focused instruction. Traditionally, language pedagogy has emphasized form-focused instruction. It is grammar translation method and audio-lingual method. And then more recently, language pedagogy has emphasized the need to provide learners with real communicative experience. And then for the question is, does form-focused instruction work? So in this instruction, in form-focused instruction, Teresa Vika do the experiment. She compare between three groups. It is tutor group, untutor group, and then mixed group. She found that the accuracy order of a number grammatical feature was broadly the same in the three groups. She also found some interesting differences in them. The tutor group was more accurate on plural s than the untutor group, but less accurate on progressive verb ing. And then for the mixed group was intermediate in both cases. And then this result led Pika to suggest that the effect of instruction may depend on the target structure that is being taught.
Now, the next question to find more about this form-focused instruction is it work? Is it effective to use in real class? And to answer this, we must look at the finding by previous researcher. First is research studies that compared of tutored and untutored student. Now, this research find that the effects of instruction depends on the structure being taught. So if the structure is easier, such as simple past tense, we could easily remember that because we know the formula. Another example is if the material is kind of complicated, the structure is complicated, then the student have more difficulties to understand the material, and they might rarely use it. Like the use of ing in English, it might be tricky to understand because the use of ing in English could be stated as present continuous tense, or it could be gerund. And if the student have a little understanding of this material, then this material only remember in a short term. Next is designing instructional experiment, where this research raised the teachability hypothesis, where it means that instruction can only promote language if it is close to natural setting. Means that if we as a teacher provide the student, facilitate the student the classroom atmosphere that allow them to speak English more, to perform with English more, then it might be this instruction will be success. Now, for the conclusion is design carefully your materials and teaching method, because form focused instruction may have the pro and cons. It may provide the student more understanding about the structure, more understanding about the grammar, but the weakness is the student might not really remember it well because the structure might be just rarely used in the daily conversation. The main point we should remember that there is no perfect teaching method. There is only good teaching method for the right student. So be careful when you teach the student. Design your lesson plan carefully and use the instruction as simple as it might understandable by your student. So that's all from me. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, now I'm Fashidina and I will continue the material. It's about the effect of the instruction, and there is a question about this: why some structures seem to be permanently affected and others are not. So there are some factors that make it happen. The first factor is it depends on the nature of the instruction, and other possibility which we have already examined is that it depends on the nature of the target structure. So, for example, when the instructions affect system learning, the effect may be long-lasting, but when it only influences item learning, the effects may be less durable. And the third possibility is that long-lasting effects occur only when learners have subsequent opportunities to hear and use the target structure in communication. So this might explain why instruction produces durable effect for French verb tenses and for question forms, which occur frequently but not for adverbs, which do not. However, we don't yet have a definite answer to this important question about why some structures seem to be permanently affected and others are not. But there are some factors that support the question. Thank you, and the next material will be delivered by my friends.
Okay, I will continue the material about consciousness raising. This term refers to attempt to make learners aware of the existence of specific linguistic feature in the target language. It can be done by supplying the positive evidence, and negative one is this alternative approach. Based on Trehi and White, the positive evidence worked better than the negative one. Their experiments were done to 11 years old French students of English who were given instruction where they were fed with input containing adverb sentence over 2 weeks period. He wasn't given any explicit information or negative feedback, and after 2 weeks he could show the use of SAVO, for example, and quietly watch the television instead using SVAO, for example, and watch quietly the television that were wrong. The positive input in the form of input flooding may help learners to start using some difficult forms like SAVO. And the next is learner instruction matching. It's not equally effective if all L2 learners are given the same instructional option in the learning process. The differences of every individual are such factors as learning style and language aptitude are likely to influence which option work best. And learners with different kind of ability may be able to achieve similar levels of success, providing that the type of instruction enables them to maximize their strength. And there is some evidence to suggest that this is the case. And it is obviously important to take individual differences into account when investigating the effects of instruction. So, we can see that the good instruction is not always good to use for all L2 learners. Thank you.
Okay, I will continue the material. This is the last material. The material is strategy training. The most efficient way to heighten learners' awareness is to provide strategy training. Strategy training is an approach teachers can use to help language students more efficiently learn a language. By Larsen, Perryman, and Anderson 2011. Most of the research on strategy training has focused on vocabulary learning. The results have been mixed. Training students to use strategies that involve different ways of making association involving target words has generally proved successful. Strategy training aims to provide learners with the tools to do the following. The first one is self-diagnose their strengths and weakness in language learning. And the second is become aware of what helps them to learn the target language most efficiently. The third is develop a broad range of problem-solving skills. The third is experiment with familiar and unfamiliar learning strategies. The next is make decisions about how to approach a language task. And then the next is monitor and self-evaluate their performance. And then the last is transfer successful strategies to new learning contexts. The main problem is that not enough is known about which strategy and which combination of strategies work best for L2 acquisition. Thank you.